Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Hoops Journey. If you have been with us since day one, thank you. It's hard to put into words and think about what 100 episodes of a podcast is.
Why did we start the podcast? Because we were bored during a pandemic? No. I'd thought about it for a while, and Corbin, our junior coach, and a young man who I had the opportunity to coach as well, as alumni of our school, he just said, let's do it.
I remember kind of just pestering you about it throughout the season, like, hey, Mitch, we can do a podcast. Like, I'll produce for you, dude. Like, don't worry, we can figure it out.
And I thought, are you sure? I said, I don't know anything about tech. I don't know anything. And then we sat there and we talked more about like how many people are out there and the stories that could be shared, right?
I find people interesting. Listening to the stories that people have is quite a fascinating experience. I'm just excited to kind of go along this journey and meet some incredible people.
These are people that are just like you and I, that are just like people across Canada that work hard and have had success, but they're also someone that you might bump into on the street, or maybe you played against. And I thought, it'd be really cool to bring those stories to light, because as we've touched on already, you learn so much by being part of sport. When you're a part of something that's bigger than you learn so many things, and it's usually not a lot about basketball, right? It's about life. It's about so many other things. And I thought this would be a kind of a cool thing to do. It's something that was swirling around in my head for a while, and I just wasn't willing to take the risk yet. And ironically, it took a guy who I had coached and is way younger than me to sort of give me that push, right? And sometimes that's all we need. Early on, it was kind of cool. It was something brand new. You felt like a kid all over again. It was so much trial and error and lots of excitement, right? But then, you mentioned you were listening to episode 1 on the way in, and like, God bless Dom, that's my guy. But like, we listened to that and we cringed because we're like, oh my God, the sound, and like, and where we're at now, right? Well, there's a few reasons that we kept going. The feedback from people saying, you sit down with a guest and they're texting you days later, like, man, that was so fun. Like, it was so great to go back and you brought up that memory for me. Or just to talk about those moments that I had, like people going down their own memory lane, and you get to sit down and listen to that. That really inspired me and made me feel good.
We used to be able to break into the McGee gym because we sort of kicked through the vent in the door, yeah, and he could actually slip through it, and then he could let us all in. So we did that quite a bit, actually.
That's awesome.
Just to get shots up into play and let other guys in the gym. And
I was just a kid trying to find myself. I think basketball, I can truly honestly say basketball saved my life in a sense. It just gave me purpose. It made me free.
I mean, it was when I saw them that I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to go to the Olympics. I want to represent Canada. And I want to become a professional basketball player.
When I learned to be unapologetic about the way that I feel I have to write, I think my writing became true to me at that point. Mm-hmm. And now I am just filled with anticipation to find a young athlete and to talk to them about their life.
My mother, she played Division II in West Virginia, but my 3 aunts, her sisters, they all played in California, Idaho, in Division I. And at that time, that was completely absurd.
It was like a thank you card for coaching him like literally 5 years earlier. He was saying, I know you put in a lot of time, and I don't know if I said thank you back then, but just saying thank you now.
And I look to my left and there's Kobe Bryant and Steve Nash, and I look to my right and there's Metta World Peace and Pau Gasol walking out to center court. And that was the most surreal moment of my life.
Yeah, like that's like an out-of-body experience, man.
It was.
The podcast it's impacted me a lot. It's taught me that that you still sometimes really have to step out of your comfort zone. I tell kids that all the time, but I really wasn't doing it myself. I think it's also made me realize that we're all just human, right? And when you allow someone the opportunity to share who they are, you make a real connection with those people. Because in the end, we all end up playing men's and women's league, right? No matter what we did, right? And when that time comes that we walk away and whatever it was from the game, we have to have learned something from those moments, or else it was kind of a waste, I think. there were a lot of people before me that gave up a lot of hours in gyms like this. So people like you and I could have a great experience, or the best experience they could give. And in one little way I can give back through sharing stories of basketball. That's awesome to me. And it means a lot. And I don't take it for granted, not for 1 second.